Well, more now on the news that US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order for the specially appointed Department of Government Efficiency, also known as Doge, to downsize the federal workforce. Now, the president claims that there's been bribery and fraud involving billions of dollars in government spending. And the tech billionaire Elon Musk joined the president at the Oval Office as he signed that executive order. Mr. Musk said that the department has been transparent with its handling of federal agencies. Well, we can talk now to BBC Verify's Jake Horton. Jake, this has been hugely controversial in the United States. Just talk us through the issues.
So in the Oval Office last night, alongside President Trump, Elon Musk made a series of claims. One of these was about US foreign aid, and in particular, condoms being sent to Gaza. This is what he said.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV.
You know, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. You know, I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere. If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, you know, why are we doing that?
So after that clip, Elon Musk took to X, his own platform, and doubled down, saying $50 million of condoms is a lot of condoms. But there's no evidence that condoms were sent in recent years to either Gaza in the Middle East or Gaza in Mozambique. That's a province in Mozambique, the African country. There have been aid programs by the US in both of those places, but we spoke to the agencies involved in both of those programs. They both told us that no money given to them was used to procure or distribute condoms in either the Middle East, in Gaza, or in the province of Gaza in Mozambique. And they said they were also not aware of any future commitments to do so. So, like I said, there's no evidence of that. The initial claim, which the reporter there alluded to, was made by the White House and President Trump about a week ago. And they initially said they stopped $50 million of condoms being sent to Gaza. And people were quick to point out that perhaps they got confused with Gaza in Mozambique, because on a government website there was a commitment to send about $80 million to that province. But that program was for HIV prevention and not for condoms, the aid agency told us. In the past, the US has sent money abroad for contraceptive programs, such as family planning. In 2023, which is the latest year we have data for, that amounted for $60 million for the entire world. And none of that was sent to Gaza in the Middle East. Most of that went to Africa. About 7 million of that was for condoms. So that has happened in the past, but it's important to say that also happened under President Trump's last administration. In 2019, when he was in office, that was about $40 million for contraceptives sent by the US around the world. And Musk made a series of other claims. One of these was about Social Security, which is a program in the US which covers about 67 million people who are retired or have a disability so they can't work, and they get a basic income as a result. This is what he said in particular about that program.
You know, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old.
Now, again, there's no evidence for the specific claim Musk is making there about people being 150 years old being on the rolls of Social Security. And we looked for such evidence and we haven't been able to find any yet. We're still looking and we'll report if we find any. There is evidence. There's a report saying that there are about 19 million people on Social Security files in the US who are about 100 years old or older. Now, it's important to say these are people you might expect to be on the rolls because it's a program that covers retired individuals. And they also noted, although there is 90 million people on the file, only about 44,000 people on that file are actively getting benefits from Social Security. And there's about 100,000 people in the US, according to the latest census data, that are over 100 years old. So context is important here. Like I said at the top, there's no evidence for the claim Musk makes about 150-year-olds. In terms of 100-year-olds, there are some on the rolls, but the vast majority aren't gaining benefits. And you would perhaps expect some of these people in the US to be gaining benefits off that program, which covers retired individuals.
All right, Jake, thank you very much indeed. Jake Horton there from BBC Verify. And we can also speak to US politics reporter at The Hill. That's Julia Manchester, who joins us from Washington, D.C. Julia, just talk to us about that rather extraordinary appearance by Elon Musk with his son on his shoulders there at the White House. Rather unorthodox, to say the least.
Very much so. And it comes as there's really been so much Democratic resistance here in Washington, D.C. to Elon Musk, someone who was unelected, and someone who very much has President Trump, who was elected, his ear. So you have all these protests from Democrats happening in Washington, D.C., but you have Elon Musk standing beside President Trump in the Oval Office, essentially talking for the majority of the half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was, of that press conference or pool spray, explaining what Doge is. And I think it underscores, a lot of the concerns that Democrats and critics of the administration have with Elon Musk's role. And also it's happening as we're seeing Doge really cut through a number of federal programs, try to implement these buyouts, go head to head with federal judges in terms of, whether they can, take this action. So there's a lot of questions as to, Elon Musk's role in this, Doge's role in this. But what I thought was remarkable was how Donald Trump sat there and sort of nodded his head and let Elon Musk take a lot of the spotlight. We know that Donald Trump is someone who likes to be the center of the attention. He likes to be in the spotlight, but all indications, at least publicly, show that he likes Elon Musk in this role.
Yeah. And what do you think the public make of it? I mean, as you mentioned, the sort of various battles in the courts over all of this. But I guess many of the people who voted for Donald Trump will say, well, this is what we voted for, big cuts in federal spending.
Well, that's what Elon Musk said actually yesterday in the Oval Office. He said that the American people, voted for cuts in fraud and abuse in federal spending and bloat in the federal government. So that's, I think, the argument you're hearing from that side of the aisle. However, I think there's a lot of other Trump voters who would look at this and say, well, we didn't necessarily vote for the spectacle, if you will, that comes along with the Trump administration and seeing Elon Musk in the Oval Office and seeing the, clashing of the executive branch, the presidency, and the judicial branch, a lot of these federal government, in the federal judges, I should say. So, I think there is certainly that spectacle that comes along with it. But a lot of Republicans I talk to in Washington say, look, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing something that Republicans for decades have wanted to do but have been unable to implement. They are, within the first 3 weeks of the second Trump administration, cutting the size of the federal workforce dramatically, posing these challenges constitutionally in many ways to federal judges. So they find that, Elon Musk is moving at breakneck speed. They like that because it's never been done in the past.
It's fascinating. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much. Julia Manchester, US politics reporter at The Hill, joining us there from Washington. Thank you so much.